Now on CoastTV News.
Pairing primary dates, we look at the bill approved by the Delaware House that changes the election calendar in the state. In coastal cash cut, the reaction in Fenwick Island after the loss of federal money for programs designed to protect its beaches.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. A bill being reviewed in the Delaware Senate is attempting to have one primary date in Delaware instead of the two that take place during presidential election years. On Tuesday in the House, House Bill 65 passed by an overwhelming majority. It applies to statewide, county, and municipal primaries. That new date is the fourth Tuesday in April. That would align with the date of the presidential primaries in Delaware, and if it is signed into law, it will take effect in 2027. And this just in, an update to Delaware's code on voting was introduced yesterday in the House. The act requires photographic identification in order to vote. House Bill 112 is sponsored by Milford area Republican Brian Shoup. Last month, President Trump signed an executive order that requires proof of U.S. citizenship in order to vote. With no apparent support from Democrats in the House, it will be a challenge for this bill to get to the floor for a full vote. We're now taking a live look outside at Rehoboth Beach this morning, and First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey is going to join us. Bob, that's a beautiful scene out there, but it is cold this morning, so if you're walking on that boardwalk, good luck.
Good luck indeed, and bundle up, Elisa, as it's a cold day, and it was a really cold start out there this morning. Pretty much everybody below freezing away from the coast, but even at the coast, 31 the low in Ocean City this morning, 28 in Salisbury and Georgetown, 32 in Easton, 28 in Wallops Island. So I hope you protected your plants. If not, they probably got a little zapped by the freeze this morning. But we are warming it up ever so slowly. 40 in Ocean City, 43 in Salisbury right now, 42 in Bethany Beach. The same for Rehoboth, Georgetown 43. There is a bit of a breeze now, but it will be light as high pressure is building in. So some of those temperatures in the 40s, feeling like 30s right now, and not a cloud in the sky. Looking at the visible satellite picture, looking just gorgeous out there as high pressure is right over the top of us. So that means light winds and lots of sunshine as we go through the day, but still on the cold side. Futurecast at noon has us only in the mid 40s. By 2, we see some 50-degree readings showing up inland areas. So from Milton to Seaford and Salisbury, I think we're looking at temperatures in the lower 50s, but you move closer to the coast, I think we're stuck in the 40s here, maybe 50 around Rehoboth and Lewis, and then we're looking at 40s as we go into this evening. So have the sunscreen and sunglasses, light winds and temperatures in the low 50s today. Protect the plants again tonight because there is a chance of a frost. Then we're looking at increasing rain chances end of the week into a part of the weekend. More on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. And having frost at this time of year is not uncommon. We looked at data from the National Gardening Association, and here's what we found. The historical average for the state shows a 30% chance of frost in Dewey Beach. It jumps up to 50% in Ocean City. It's also at 50% in Georgetown and 40% in Selbyville. In Fenwick Island, FEMA funding called BRIC Grant was pulled from the town. Instead, that money is now being sent to North Carolina for hurricane recovery support. Fenwick Island Mayor Natalie Magdeburger says the FEMA grant would have been used to bring on engineers who would determine responses to sea level changes. This includes altercations and repairs to existing bulkheads along the coast. Magdeburger says the BRIC grant would have totaled about $300,000, with the town covering around 25% of that. In Delaware, setting its eye on the need for affordable housing, for the past few months, a task force has been studying the shortage, and it released its final report. This report serves as a statewide guideline to boost affordable housing. It includes key recommendations like expanding funding and streamlining the approval process. The Delaware Housing Director says home supply is not meeting demand.
The type of development, the type of density, the type of housing supply that we want our new system, as we recreate it, as we re-envision it, to produce for us is different than what they've seen over the past several decades.
As for implementing the plan, Heckle says they're seeing progress and hope for more. Delaware State Police are investigating a deadly shooting in Seaford. Officials say it happened on April 8th around 5:50 p.m. on Clarence Street. Seaford officers and state troopers found a 32-year-old man with gunshot wounds. Police say he later died at the hospital. Officials say a preliminary investigation shows that man was shot by an unknown number of suspects. And investors are in white-knuckle grip mode this morning as the biggest tariffs yet kicked in overnight. China, who now faces an increase of 104%, is vowing to, quote, fight to the end. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how President Trump and his team insist the pain in the pockets for Americans will be short-lived and the country will profit.
Not going to take it anymore. And that's
this morning, President Trump's trade war ratcheting up as his unprecedented tariffs on imports from around the world took effect just after midnight, spooking Wall Street investors once again.
I know what the hell I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
The White House says 70 countries have already reached out to negotiate down the tariffs.
They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal.
Something some Republicans wary of stock market plunges and recession warnings are begging the president to do.
Pretty pleased with sugar on top. You sit down with every one of these countries that want to lower their trade barriers and let's make a deal.
Others standing by President Trump's tariff strategy.
To reset, recalibrate the entire global economy by bringing it all home to America.
But economists warn it will take years to rebuild American manufacturing for products like apparel and electronics that long ago shifted overseas, with the U.S. especially reliant on China, now hit with a cumulative 104% tariff. China firing back with retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. Some products like imported auto parts already seeing sticker shock from earlier tariff rounds.
There was one part that was around $280, and then 2 days later, the cost went up to like $328.
Democrats underscoring higher prices for American consumers.
The U.S. economy has gone from the envy of the world to a laughingstock in less time than it took to finish March Madness.
As President Trump stands firm that his big bet on trade will pay off. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Up next on Coast TV News, Inland Bay dismay will tell you why the center says there could still be hope after financial loss. We are learning more about the Center for the Inland Bay's fear of losing funding. This after the center's director said federal cuts means a huge loss for the organization. The director spoke at the Sussex Preservation Coalition meeting Tuesday night. He said with help from people on the coast, there may be some hope for the center.
Our whole watershed needs care, and so the opportunity here is to let people know how it needs care, why it is that we do the things that we do, and how it is that they can pitch in and help.
Toulouse tells Coast TV they will be losing $1.6 million. He says they will have to find other ways to get funding. And happening now, Murr is still following the dead whale recently found in the Indian River Bay. The whale has floated into the inlet, and Murr Institute attempted to reach that whale on Tuesday as it moved out to sea, but it was moving too fast. That whale is now headed south and can be identified by the orange ball float still attached to it.
Not a cloud in the sky right now on the tunnel and Razor Cam. Beautiful conditions, full sunshine, but it's cold. 44 in Lewis. You're only rising into the mid to upper 40s this afternoon as we started out with the freeze this morning for many of us. Now we're just sunny and chilly, but protect your plants again tonight for a possible frost. And after that, rain chances increase late week into a part of the weekend. Congratulations to Joan Wheatley from Seaford on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV. Coming up, more on our rain chances and what the weekend holds in store in my full forecast after the break. We started our Wednesday in the deep freeze this morning with temperatures in the 20s and 30s, and it's still cold out there despite lots of sunshine. Wall-to-wall blue skies right now on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam in Laurel, 42 degrees and a light northerly breeze, and we're warming through the 40s, maybe up to about 50 later on this afternoon. I'm thinking lower 50s inland, but look at these cold temperatures this morning. No record lows, but pretty cold. 28 in Salisbury and Georgetown, 31 in Dover and Ocean City. Wallops Island got down to 28 with 32 in Easton and 36 in Cambridge. So hope you protected your plants last night because you'll have to do it again tonight with a chance of a little bit of frost. Temperatures now are still on the cold side. 41 Indian River Inlet, 42 at Bethany Beach. Delmarva, you're at 43 in Georgetown, at Redden at 44 degrees. And we have a bit of a breeze now out of the north, but it's pretty light as high pressure is settling over us, and that's pretty typical with high pressure that we see light winds. winds. Feels like temperatures in some cases still feeling like 30s out there in Georgetown, Indian River Inlet, and Bethany Beach, while it's feeling like low 40s elsewhere. So we have a lot of sun, but it's just very cold out there as we're looking at the visible satellite picture. Not a cloud in the sky. So if you're traveling today, great day. A lot of visibility, great visibility, and we're seeing clear skies all the way up into New York, down into the Piedmont of North Carolina. Still some lake effect snow across areas of New York as it's still wintertime up there, and we're seeing more of that snow into Wisconsin and back into the plains as high pressure keeping our weather nice today will start to slide away. And then we're watching this system across the upper Midwest and the Midwest with rain and in the colder air snow, and this system will be heading our way, and that will kick off some shower chances as we go into the latter part of Thursday into Friday. But we're in good shape today, just chilly. Here's noon on Futurecast. We're in the mid 40s from Millsboro to Ellendale, low to mid 40s at the beaches with lots of sunshine. By 2 p.m., maybe about 50 in Salisbury, 49 in Seaford, 49 in Selbyville, 43 in Bethany Beach. So definitely cooler at the beaches. And then by later this afternoon, 52 in Georgetown, Seaford around 52, and Salisbury 51 degrees. This evening, with clear skies and light winds, temperatures fall from the 40s into the 30s, I think, after midnight. But it's a little bit of a different setup tonight because the winds start to pick up out of the south-southeast and we increase the cloud cover. But still protect your plants as temperatures could dip into the mid-30s, some inland areas, otherwise 40s. Then we're seeing the clouds increasing throughout your Thursday with an onshore flow bringing in the moisture. By afternoon, we're in the low to mid-50s away from the coast, but 40s at the beaches. Then tomorrow night, I think we do start to increase some showers, and that is the case especially as we go into your Friday morning. As we're seeing winds kind of variable today, maybe a bit of a sea breeze keeping you cooler there. Then a southeast wind kicks in as we go into your Thursday, and those winds start to get pretty strong into the afternoon, gusting up to about 25 miles per hour. Then we start to see rain building in, not so much Friday morning, but then a steady rain Friday evening and Friday night into Saturday. It looks like kind of a washout with an area of low pressure developing offshore. I think we dry it out on Sunday and then into Monday as well. Just a reminder, frost is possible tonight, so make sure you cover up your plants. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast. 52 today with lots of sunshine, 36 tonight, then 56 Thursday. As we start to cloud things up, a better chance of rain Friday, 57. Passover could be a little wet on Saturday with 56 degrees, but we dry it out on Palm Sunday, 59, and then warmer and dry to start early next week.
Thank you, Bob. And here's a look at what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life.
We made it halfway through the week, and we've got another episode of Coast Life for you. Lots of fun coming up today at 4. We're going to be giving away a bathroom remodel to a very deserving individual.
A little emotional, that one.
So emotional.
Plus, hooking them while they're young. This is all about preserving wetlands, a book that's going to get the younger kids interested in why it's important.
That's right. And yesterday we talked about spring cleaning in our great debate. Well, have you thought about maybe the curb appeal of your house for some of that spring cleaning? And maybe concrete is something you haven't considered, but it is something that you should consider. We'll tell you why with all of that and more today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Happening now, Avelo Airlines is agreeing to a long-term deal flying for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, or ICE. The company is one of a small number of airlines cashing in on the multi-million-dollar business of deportation flights. Avelo is headquarters in Houston and has flights to and from Wilmington, Delaware. Avelo says the ICE flights will be both domestic and international to support the Department of Homeland Security's deportation efforts. One immigration advocate says these types of flights are a big money business.
Right now, as best I can tell, DHS is spending about between $25 and $35 million a month.
The deal with Avelo will also include the transportation of people in ICE custody domestically, typically from 24 detention centers across the U.S. And coming up tonight on DSN at 10:30, you can catch the final score and also for your DSN Plus lineup. At 4, Parkside takes on Kent Island and Boys Lacrosse. Also at 4, it's high school tennis when Decatur visits Snow Hill, and Cape is at Milford for girls lacrosse. At 5:30, high school boys lacrosse in Indian River travels to Sussex Academy. CoastTV will be right back. We have several more nights of closures on Route 113 in Millsboro. It's related to the bypass project. According to Del, crews will continue working through April 11th. DelDOT says this is to place beams for that new bridge. Starting today, the closures are affecting drivers in the northbound lanes. DelDOT says crews are working from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And an update to road work taking place in Georgetown. According to the town, DelDOT has postponed lane and shoulder closures. On your screen now is the railroad crossing where the Delmarva Central Railroad Company is performing maintenance work at Route 9. That work was set to begin today, but is now scheduled for tomorrow beginning at 9 a.m. This work is expected to be completed by April 25th at 5 p.m.
We're seeing lots of blue skies right now on the Gutter Helmet Camp, but it is chilly. 42 in Ocean View, a bit of a breeze as well, and you're only warming into the mid to upper 40s this afternoon. It will be a chilly day with lots of sunshine. Protect your plants once again tonight for the potential of a little bit of frost, not nearly as cold as this morning. Make sure you call the CoastTV weather phone to get your forecast. Another way to get your forecast, and it's just a call away, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico. Your 10-day forecast is coming up next. Stay tuned. You still need that heavier jacket if you're out and about this afternoon, and with the sunscreen and sunglasses too, as temperatures slowly rise to the 40s into the low 50s. Winds will be light. Now we're looking at another chilly night. And protect your plants once again. A low of 36 tomorrow morning, maybe a little frosty. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 56, increasing clouds Thursday, rainy on Friday, 57, and for the weekend, Passover could be a little wet, around 56, but then it dries out for Palm Sunday. Warmer into next week, and a warm up into Good Friday, and crossing our fingers for a dry Easter holiday weekend. We'll continue to watch it.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.